What's up, YouTube? And welcome to episode 21 of Snap, Krackle, Pod. Trevor, you are looking shredded wheat, if I do say so myself. How you doing?
I wasn't expecting that, but hey, thanks for the compliment. I have been shedding a few pounds here and there.
I knew it.
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. End of the week. It's a Friday. We're recording on a Friday, so that's great. You're getting me in a good mood. If we had been recording 2 hours ago, I would be completely dead to the world, but I've had a little bit of time to bounce back, had some good food, and I'm ready to film 21, man. I'm excited to talk about what we got to talk about today, but more importantly, man, I got to know how you are. Tell me about it.
Yeah, good. Had a good day, busy, but ready to jump into some Marvel Snap. I mean, I guess I'll start with what's poppin'. First, I'll just mention that it's been a really good week for, actually, I guess 2 weeks, for deck that I built. I know you've been playing a version of it as well, so I'll pull it up on the screen just so people can see at least my version of it. And I know you've got a slightly different version, but similar. Been calling it Beef, and I put out a deck guide on the other channel. And yeah, it's an Ensabanur deck, and I basically just wanted a way to make that card feel really good every time you played it. And so I just built a ton of huge cards in here and a bunch of ways to make sure that you're getting that front row filled and also getting out the things that you need to push back into the deck and leave big stuff. So Quicksilver Domino, Debris, I'll do that. And then everything else is just pumping out a bunch of beef, and it's been really good. So that's all I've been doing, basically. It's what got me to Infinite. And the video is doing really well, so that's my week in Snap. How about you, Trev?
Doesn't matter if it's roast beef, ground beef. It's just the beef, and it is a great deck. I have not been calling it beef. I've been calling it something else, but I'll get into that a little bit later. Yeah, I have a slightly different iteration of this deck, but the whole premise of it is pretty much the same. I've been really enjoying it. Obviously, Quicksilver Domino is the way to get into it. Debris, throwing out some rocks, which we got an interesting OTA to talk about with this deck as well. So
Yeah.
I need to get to that. What's been popping in my week? I've been working my way up in ladder. I finally got back in Omega, I believe it's called, and I'm about to creep up into Galactic. It's just I wasn't playing a ton of ladder for the longest time, so I'm creeping my way back up and pushing 90 pretty soon.
That's awesome.
With that deck, I've gone 22-5. I had a few unfortunate losses where I was a bit distracted, so it had nothing to do with the deck. I just was not paying attention fully. We all have games like that, but that's what's been popping in my week. Why don't you kick us off with our first topic of the day?
Yeah, well, before we get into the cards, I just want us to touch real quick on Team Clash. It's not going to be a full topic, but it is back. This is the second time Team Clash has been here in the client, and I'm personally pretty excited to see it because I like a good limited time game mode, and they've been running a lot of the same ones back lately, and so it's nice to have something a little different. Kind of cool. They brought a new class in here with the Brotherhood of Mutants. Different kind of power for them. I haven't played too much of the mode, but what are your initial thoughts on Team Clash just coming back?
Yeah, I like Team Clash. It definitely makes, I think the last time we were talking about this, it makes your brain think a little bit differently about some of the common cards that we see. Just makes it a little bit more exciting, a different style of play. So I appreciate them kind of going this route. And it's nice to see the Brotherhood of Electrical Workers get some recognition as well. They got their own little faction, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is cool. And the fact this mode has missions, I think, is really unique, and I wonder if other modes will incorporate that as well. I know obviously they're in high voltage, but what's cool is this has the track and it has the missions, and because of that, I'm not just playing the same deck over and over again. The missions are kind of forcing me to play different factions, because I would not be otherwise. So I like that it makes me do that. It makes the mode a little more interesting and a little less grindy. So I think that's a good way to go.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate the missions. I find when there's an LTM and there's no missions, I find myself getting stuck in a rut, like you said, finding one deck that works really well, or just becoming so frustrated trying to figure out what works really well for that LTM. So having some missions to keep me on track and playing some different combinations with the different factions. That's why I like Team Clash. It's cool. I really dig it.
Yeah. All right, so that's our thoughts on the mode. It'll be around for a few more days, so you can still get in there and get some of the new things, including Sandstorm, which we'll talk about here in this next section. A little review of the cards that have come out since we recorded last. So we haven't really had a chance to get too in depth with them after they released. And let's start, of course, with Ensabanur. And I know we talked about him a little bit in the deck, but Trevor, this is season pass card. Have you been enjoying it overall based on the deck and just in general seeing it out there?
Yeah, you know what? I actually don't see anybody playing it. I swear I'm really the only one that I'm playing against that plays it. And a lot of times when I play in Salvanor, people snap, which I'm cool with because you know
Yeah,
what? I'm
yeah.
winning. I'm 21-5. Like, I'm cool if they're going to snap back, but for some reason they feel like it's a weak card. And in the wrong deck, it definitely can be a weak card. Uh, I've proven that fact with trying to do a couple, different combinations at first that weren't working well. And then my boy hit me up, said, "Hey man, you're doing this all wrong. You got to try the beef." I tried the beef. It's working well. And I even came up with a little nickname for Insabanor, and that is Insabanaba Alibaba.
Perfect. Love it. That's such a Trevor name. Yeah, this dude is very interesting because I think you nailed it. I think people think he's really weak, and in fact he got a buff in this OTA. So as a little spoiler ahead, we'll just touch on it later then. But he went from a 4/5 to a 4/6, and then Apocalypse on the other side also got a power, which is technically just one power because he's either going to be one of these. So he just keeps the power. But I mean, look, the way I've been looking at this card, and when it first was spoiled, I was like, oh, that card's interesting. It'll probably be a little hard to control. But if you build your deck right, this is just a 4/9 that gets you more on top of that guaranteed. So like you just have to think about it in a different way. Normally when you go all in on a card like that, it's the wrong thing to do, but I think you have to with this card. Because it's not what if you play this in a deck with like the Hood and you have a chance of bringing out a -3? Like, you just can't do it. You need to play with the right cards, and if you do, I think it's really cool. So I came around on it a lot, and it's become one of my favorite cards now just to play because I think it's cool. So yeah, and Sabanur, we like him.
Alibaba.
Let's not go to Sandstorm next. Let's go to the next card they released, which was Iska the Unbeaten. I think most people thought this card would be the strongest or maybe the second strongest of the season. And I think it definitely lived up to that hype. It's played in a lot of decks. People are, it's versatile because it just gets big. Kind of, there's a lot of different shelves you can play it with. It's not like Ensabanor. It's kind of a very broad card. I like it, but I found myself getting a little more bored of it more quickly than I thought I would. Maybe one day it'll come back when I finally get Lockdown to work with it. I thought that would be insane, but is only okay with Lockdown. What do you think about Iska? Have you seen it anywhere, Trev?
2 times. I've seen it get to a 424 against me, so that was a bit formidable. So using the right place, the right time, right location, you're definitely going to get some really good power out of this. I was really tempted to Shang-Chi at one time, but I had to go a different lane as well. But yeah, I still think it's a cool card. It has to be played in the right location for sure, and you have to be really intentional about it. But the fact that it can just kind of beef up on its own and you really don't have to have a support card to really get it up, I mean, I still like it even though I can't play it because your boy don't got that premium pass. But hey, one of these days I'm sure I'll get it.
Yeah, what I'll say about Iska is a lot of people just ignore it when you play it because like, oh, well, I'm not going to win that lane. I'll just try to win the other two. So what I like to do with it is just Arnim Zola it or find some way to get two of them on the board. Then it's really hard to lose. So cool card. I'm not as enamored with it as I thought I would be, but it's cool. It's definitely strong. Iska. Let's talk about Juggernaut Horseman of War. I found this card incredibly hard to use. I tried it out in a couple decks, and I was never getting 6 different powers in play. I think it's just maybe comes down to the style of decks that I play. if you play in the right deck, it's just a 2/8, which is great, but it doesn't get you priority early in the game, so it doesn't fill that role because it's not getting its 8 until usually really late in the game. And then sometimes it just doesn't, or sometimes locations mess it up. So I find it hard to use. Trevor, what are your thoughts on Juggernaut?
I've seen people try to pull it off multiple times, and it has fell flat on its face every single time. I got easy wins against this card. I personally don't have it. I don't necessarily need it. I do find it, intriguing. All the objective cards are pretty cool to me, but it's not one that even when it came out, I wasn't wildly impressed. I just didn't see it being super practical. And maybe there will be some synergy in the future that works really well for it. But right now, I'm not seeing a whole lot of utility at this card. And even if you do pull it off, like you said, a 2/8, which is great stats wise, but you're getting that later in the game, and 2/8's really not going to move the needle a whole lot. And to pull that off, it takes a lot. So at 2/8, you would really hope for just a little bit more, or at least beefing up some other cards.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. I think I think it needs a little bit of help. Maybe if this was 5 different powers, maybe that's too strong, but that would be a lot easier to pull off for me. All right, that's Jug. Let's talk about Gambit, Horseman of Death. This card has been kind of a terror since it released. It is just destroying boards. I have a deck that I'm working on with this card that is a Cerebro 3 deck with Magus, because I thought it would be a fun challenge to be able to make a Cerebro 3 deck that just has this and Gambit that could both be hit by Magus and nothing else. So no Mystique, no Luke Cage like you would normally play. The challenge is you need to have cards in your deck that can complete this objective of playing created cards. So I'm running Sentinel in it, and I'm running the next card we'll talk about, Sandstorm, to get 2 1/3 rocks. If you play it at the right time, then you're getting more created stuff. And it plays Bastion to give you copies of the Cerebro and the Magus and all that. So I think it could be cool. That's what I'm trying to do to make this card fun for me, because I find its play pattern otherwise to be a little toxic. Have you run into any Gambit yet since it released this week?
Yeah, it's a little toxic, and I saw it paired with Gambit, and I forget the exact combination, but somebody Odin'd it as well. I didn't have a lot of fun that game because all my cards got destroyed.
Yeah.
And that was one of my losses in the Insaba Naba Alibaba deck. But hey, you're going to lose some games here and there. But like you said, it's kind of like more of a toxic card. I mean, you could find ways to really make this card shine, but when you're going against it and it works well, it really stinks.
I hear you. Yeah, I actually thought, I haven't played against it with Beef yet. I thought Beef might be pretty good into this because it can't hit anything other than Quicksilver, Domino, Rocks, Jubilee, or Drac. Like everything else in the deck can't be touched by it because it only gets up to 4 total cost.
I got trapped with some Rocks and some Ninjas, I believe, that game. So I didn't have a good setup, and I wasn't able to put down cards like I needed to.
I gotcha. Yeah, fair enough. Well, Gambit, I think, is going to continue to get better and better, and maybe people will tech against it. I was thinking about running Armor, actually, just as a little anti-Gambit tech that might be pretty good right now, and nobody really plays Armor. But I was throwing him into that Cerebro deck, so we'll see. Maybe that would be my next deck guide if I get it to work. All right, that's Gambit. So the last card that we're reviewing before we get into some of the upcoming releases is Sandstorm. This card is in Team Clash, so you can get it on the track for free if you play enough games. And I think it's pretty reasonable to do so. It's an interesting card. It's a 2-cost skill, which normally we've been getting a lot of 1-cost skills. So it's nice to get a different powered skill. On reveal, it gives 2 rocks to your hand, and then you give them +1 power for each of your front row characters. So if you play this really early, it's just giving you like 1/0 or 1/1 rocks, so that's not very good. But if you play it a little later, you can get some beefy rocks, almost like demon level rocks. What do you think about Sandstorm?
I'm thinking like I'm going to make a Dwayne The Rock Johnson deck here soon. Maybe a little Debris, some Sandstorm, some Aussie in there when that officially comes out, and we'll see what we can do, because hey, I'm all for making rocks powerful, man. I mean, rocks are, it's useless, or that's useless, or whatever it is. But hey, we'll see. We'll see if this can make rocks relevant again.
I think it's cool that they're trying to make the rock archetype playable, and we'll see if it actually lives up to that hype. And by hype, I mean people are excited about it, but I don't anticipate it being awesome. But I think that's okay. I think that you need to have some decks in the game that are just fun, and I don't think anybody really has a problem with that. So I'm all about it. So let's move on to the upcoming cards, starting with Caliban, Horseman of Pestilence. This card comes out this upcoming Tuesday. It is a 3/4. Objective, have 3 cards that are 4 cost or higher in play. Afflict the highest cost enemy card with -7 power. So could be up to like a 3/11 if you're not doing anything else crazy with it. Pretty good, and plays in Afflict, I guess. How hard is that objective, do you think, Trev? Just having 3/4 costs in play, or more, 4 or more.
Could it be played in beef? I don't know. It's possible, being able to drag some cards with the Jubilee and Dragon Lord. That's what I initially thought. Typically in the beef, you're only getting three 4 cost cards, so it's definitely possible. This feels like an Omega Sentinel with an extra little bit of verbiage to me.
Yes, it's a slightly, 1 cost cheaper Omega Sentinel, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, I'm cool with the card. It's different. The fact that you can get a little bit of affliction to the opponent if you just pull off something small. I feel like this could be a good card.
Yeah, I think it could be as well. It just seems like a kind of fair card. Like it's not overpowered, and because it's objective, it's a little harder to like abuse. Like you can't Jocasta with a Mega Sentinel or do Odin or whatever. So yeah, we'll see. I think we'll see how this one comes out. But it's Caliban. Let's move on to I think everybody's most anticipated card for one reason or another, Ozymandias. See how this actually releases. 5/9 ongoing. Your rocks have +3 power. What are you going to do with Ozzy if you see it or get it one day?
Ozzy, Debris, Mystique, Wong, all of the above. All going to be in a deck together. I'm going to power up. I'm going to beef up some rocks. You know what? I'm just ready to make rocks powerful. That's it. Just have some fun with it. Even if it's not a great deck, I just want to play around with it. I'm excited for Ozzy though.
Yeah, I think he's really cool. So I'm excited to see him hit the game, and it'll be neat to have a new archetype to play around with. So I'm all for it. And yeah, Onslaught, Ozzy, Ultron. Oh no, those are drones. Yeah, not Ultron. Forget that. Okay, Ozymandias. Selene, Horseman of Famine. 4/4 objective. Have 3 cards with no abilities in play. Steal 5 power from an enemy card here. So when we first talked about this card, we briefly touched on it in the season blog. I was like very down on it because I was like, oh, 3 cards with no abilities. So what, you're playing it in like a high Evo style deck, but without high Evo, like who's playing Shocker and who's playing, Cyclops and all that. Then I realized very stupidly, there's lots of other cards that have no abilities, like Demon from the Hood has no abilities, or any other type of token. You play Squirrel Girl and you immediately have 2 with no abilities. So you're already 2/3 of the way there, and all you need is 1 other card. So maybe this is a lot easier to complete than I thought.
Buddy, I hate to break it to you, but rocks don't have any abilities either.
That too. That is true. So
we're getting some rocks beefed up. So maybe we're putting this in a rock deck. Who knows? Who knows?
This is essentially a 4/14 because you're stealing 5 power. So you're taking it away, you're adding it to Selene, plus the 4. Yeah, I think maybe I was way too harsh on this card. I think it's going to be pretty good. It's got such a similar flavor to Caliban, though, because it's an objective, then you're stealing. I mean, Caliban doesn't steal, but it afflicts, so it's very similar. So I am a little bummed. Yeah, I'm a little bummed that they didn't try a different kind of thing, but I think they're trying to start slow with objective. I think that's fine in this first season.
Yeah.
Because spoiler alert, there's more objective cards coming down the road according to data mines. So, all
Oh,
right,
I'm sure.
yeah, it's a cool new design space that they have to play around in. All right. And Ramatut, this is the last card of the season that's coming out, and probably going to be the most chaotic fun, I think. I guess there's a small possibility this card's broken. But I think it has some bad on reveals in there too. Like I think MODOK is rumored to be part of the list. So you could just discard your whole hand as one of the 3 on reveals. Like I don't think Destroyer is part of the list because that would be mega unfun every time that happened. And what do you think of Ramatut?
Yeah, I mean, I'm cool with it. I want to really like randomness, but I find that the random decks are the ones that are the most frustrating because you go in with a strategy, you're building a specific deck for a specific outcome to happen. When it doesn't happen or when it backfires, it doesn't feel that good. You know what I mean? Like when
Yeah.
you're really trying to work your way up in the ladder. I don't know. I don't know how much I want to deal with this card, but it just really depends on what abilities are out there. And if we could find a list and weigh out like which ones would be the most positive, and if that's 66% of them are positive or 75%, the higher that pushes up, the better I'm feeling about it.
Yeah, I'm going to pull up the list because I have it here somewhere. Ramatut's list. Here we go. Here it is. Let's take a look because that is important to know. Here's the list of on reveals. We got Arrow, Agent 13, Agent Coulson, Eliath, America Chavez, Antivenom, Ares, Arnim Zola, Baron Zemo, Bastion, Black Bolt, Black Panther. Let's see what else is in here. So those are all pretty decent. I mean, no Destroyer. Like I said, MODOK is in here. I would say 75% of them are going to be good for you in some way. Some of them are ones like Moon Knight and Hydro Man that are going to be both sides. Some of them are like, Viper. You can end up vipering something. You cannot possibly like be prepared for all of the possible outcomes. So I think you're just going to kind of play this card and then, hope. So, yeah.
I feel like I'm cool with it overall.
Yeah, it's going to be great for like those crazy clips where you're like, oh my gosh, I got a Shuri, Black Panther, Eliath or whatever. Or, oh, you know what? Look, Destroyer is in this list. So unless this changes, because this is just data mine, so that could change. I think that this card is actually going to be kind of bad overall because the randomness is just going to screw you more over, than help you some of the time. But we'll see. I think it's going to be an interesting card to monitor and watch. And like I said, it'll be good for some clips. I'm sure I'll play it just for a bit of fun whenever I'm looking for something light to play.
It'll make it for a fun deck for sure.
Yeah. All right. So that's all the upcoming cards for the rest of this season. You want to talk about some of the cards that changed in the patch in the OTA?
OTA, bring it on.
So first up, the patch had a surprise number of changes. I didn't put these in the show notes, but I have them here in the client. So let's just go over them real quick. First, did you see the Mysterio change?
I did not, actually.
So Mysterio obviously was a card where you would play it. It would play 3 copies of itself, all 2/0 in the locations, and then one of them was a 2/4 at the end of the game. You knew what it was, but your opponent didn't. Well, that ability to play them out like that was not good for the game, so they made a change. It was like causing issues with the coding and like new cards they were building. So now it just creates one illusion on reveal. So it's not like you're playing both of them. This is just an on reveal card. You'll get a 2/0 illusion, kind of like normal, but then Mysterio has an activate where you swap power with it. So Mysterio's a 2/5, and then you get to choose whether you move that power over to the illusion and get the 0 back on the Mysterio or not. So it's kind of like that. Still has the guessing game, the shell game in it, but it's a little bit differently flavored now.
That's a very interesting change. I would have to imagine this is one of the cards previously that had the lowest usage rate. I don't recall ever seen in all my games of Snap seeing Mysterio played one singular time.
Well, yeah, there were people that played it, but it was probably played in kind of like higher, like infinite. It could be played with Sasquatch because it was counting as playing 3 cards. It could be played with Hitmonkey because it counts as playing 3 cards just by paying 2. So like that, it had some applications there. It's not my preferred style, but it definitely had its champions. Some people really like this card, but definitely not something you would see all over ladder. Not these days. Maybe back before you started playing, it was played a lot more.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I do like the change though, making this card a little bit more relevant or at least more interesting. I'm cool with it.
Not to bring every card back to beef, but I was considering playing this in beef because instead of debris, maybe, because what it can do is this 2/0, you essentially get to choose where it is whenever you have Ensabanur go off. So like if you want the Mysterio lane to have the 0 for the Ensabanur switch, you can by activating. Otherwise, you can leave it where the illusion is. So I think that's kind of a cool little way to play Ensabanur. So I'm considering that. We'll see. But
Yeah, but when Celine and Ozzy come out to beef up those rocks, you're not even going to be thinking about Mysterio.
except the illusion doesn't have abilities, I don't think. So Celine.
Fair.
All right, so that's Mysterio. The next card that changed in the patch, it's actually a series of cards. They made it so any card like Kahori, which does this like small buff over and over again, so it'll give you like, you know, 6 of your cards plus 1 power. Instead of those being 6 separate instances, it now does it all at once. It counts all at once. So this is relevant for stuff like Kahori into Sebastian Shaw. It won't count each one as a separate trigger and give it an additional +2 each time. It'll just give it like that plus whatever, and then just 1 +2 for Sebastian. So they buffed her up to a 4/7 to account for that kind of nerf to her ability.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, not much more to say about that, but that's what they did. 2 other changes. The one is Sasquatch got a jump up to 6/11, partially because Mysterio was a good card with Sasquatch. This is a card I don't really see, to be honest, and I don't play the style of decks that play out a bunch of cards on turn 5. But yeah, I think a much needed point of power.
Was it a 4/10 before?
A 6/10. It's just a 6/10.
6/10. Okay. I don't know what I was thinking of. There's another card that's a 4/10 that I'm thinking of.
Typhoid Mary, maybe?
No, not Typhoid.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever.
Fair enough. All right. That's Sasquatch. And then the other change they made was 2 very similar changes just to Lockjaw and Shauna to make it characters. And actually, maybe that didn't go through yet, but they are making that change. They mentioned it. It's the cards that they're adding can only be characters. Maybe that is not through yet, but that's coming. They did announce that. That's the patch. Now the OTA. We already talked about Ensabanur getting its buff, so we don't have to go into that again, but just went to a 4/6 and then Apocalypse to a 4/9. Like exactly. Debris also, I had to laugh because I was like, oh, 2 of my cards in my deck that is doing very well and got me to infinite got buffs. So, and I think they did this just to be like, hey, Ozzy's coming. Get ready for it with the Debris buff.
Yeah, I was really sad about these 2 buffs.
I bet. All right. White Tiger, they just continue to make this Tiger Spirit bigger and bigger. It's now a 4/10. I think it was originally a 4/7. Then they went to 8. Then it was at a 9. And now it's 5/10s, these Tigers. What do you think about White Tiger's buff?
It's good. Yeah, I remember not too terribly long ago, got a little bit of a buff too. I forget what the exact buff was.
To 9.
Just going up to 5, maybe.
Yeah.
But I was even thinking about using this with Gambit as well, because technically it would be a created card, 5 cost, easy way to make it.
It doesn't work. No, Gambit says you have to play the created cards, and you're not playing the White Tiger. It's coming out of the honor reveal. For
Man, I'm just trying to be sneaky. I thought that'd be such an easy way to make it go off.
It would be, yeah. It would be, but unfortunately not.
Look at me trying to use my rigatoni.
Yes. Now, the easiest way to pull off the Gambit would be Valentina because it gives you a 6-cost card with -2 cost. So you can play that out on 4 and it's immediately fulfilling the 5 because it is still a 5, 6-cost card even though you're playing it for 4.
Cool.
All right, that's White Tiger. One thing I will say about this is I think for a while they didn't want to buff it up to a 10 because when Shang-Chi was destroying all 10 power cards, that was not good for the White Tiger players. But now that it only hits 1 and nobody's really playing Shang, I think that's why they felt okay doing this. The other cards, Ghost. This card sees no play. So a 3/5, I think that's fine, whatever. I mean, this card just never feels good to play because if your opponent's not playing end of turn, it's a totally dead card. I'd rather play like Cosmic Ghost Rider that can hit multiple things.
Exactly.
Hydro-Man, 5/9. Nobody plays Hydro-Man. When they do, it always helps me out. So, again, I think it's fine.
Yeah, I just had it played against me on Beef, and I'm like, this guy doesn't even know that my next 2 cards are definitely going to be Infinite and Giganto. So,
brutal.
Easy win for me.
Yeah, okay. Pixie. So Hydro-Man and Pixie getting both buffed does make me curious about playing a Mobius deck because it works with both those cards. But Pixie gets a little buff to 2/3. I've always wanted to like this card a lot more than I do. It just never works for me when I play it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it played too much. I've always wondered how I would use it in a deck, but every time I sit there and try to figure out, I'm like, yeah, I don't know if this is going to work or not.
I'm with you. It's confusing too because like it swaps, but like I don't know. It doesn't. It never feels like it works the way you want it to. All right, let's get into our next topic, our second to last, some blind rankings. Trevor, do you want me to go first?
I feel like I've been talking a while. I feel like I can, or sorry, you've been talking a while. I can give you yours.
Sure, let's do it.
Pull it up, pull it up, pull it up. All right. I don't know why I feel confident that I'm going to stump you. I didn't even try to stump you. Like, I didn't really go out of my way and try to make this list very stumpable, but I don't know why. I feel like I'm going to get you on this one.
Okay.
All right. First off, we're starting off pretty strong, I would like to think. Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Sure. That's going to be a tough one for me. I really like this card. I hate it being played against me because I play too many combo things. I want to give it a 3, and I think it could be a 2, so I'm between those two. I'm going to go with 3. I think it's a little safe.
3. I am surprised for you to put it at 3, but that is fine. We'll go and head right into Stardust.
Oh man, you're playing all the tech. Stardust. I'm gonna give Stardust the 2, actually. I really like playing it. I love how, first of all, this card is fascinating because people don't realize how many things it shuts down, and it's like Echo, where I'll have it on the board and then I will watch them set up like Black Panther, and I'm like, you're not gonna Arnim Zola that, are you? And then they Arnim Zola it and they just destroy it and nothing happens, and they're like, what's happening? So yeah, give it a 2.
Does it kind of defeat Prof X? Is it just basically like a replacement for Prof X?
No. In what way?
I don't know, because you can only move into, well, I guess you could play and move into, I don't know. Whatever.
It's
We're
okay.
moving on.
Let's move on.
We're moving. Number 3, we got Eliath.
You are doing all the tech. All right. Eliath, man, these are some toxic tech cards. I'll give it a 4 just because, honestly, because I locked myself out of 2 and 3, and I just don't think I can in good conscience give a card that's so toxic number 1. We'll go 4.
That's fair. You don't like to be toxic. I get it.
But I do, though. I just don't like, I don't like that I like it. Let's put it that way.
Well, we have an OTA card in here. Any guesses?
Ghost?
Debris.
Okay. Debris.
Well, it wasn't all tech. It just so happened my brain was on tech at first.
Okay. Debris. 1 or 5. Yikes. I don't think I can give it a 1. I do like debris. It'll be 5. You got me with this list, I think. It's gonna be bad at 1.
You're number 1 with Cosmic Ghost Rider, or sorry, Stardust being 2, Cosmic Ghost Rider being 3, Eliath 4, Debris 5. You got Yellow Jacket as your number 1.
Oh, that's brutal. I got the banana split on it and everything. Oh, okay. Number 1 card, Yellow Jacket. Yep. You know what? I will sometimes play this with Valkyrie, so there's that.
I really wasn't trying to stump you or anything like that or trap you, but for some reason, I don't know why. I just put cards together and I was like, this feels like it might get them off chance. I don't know.
You got me. So that's cool. I will live with it.
That's probably the first time in the 15 episodes we ever did this.
No way. All right. All right, let's start off with yours then. First up, how about Squirrel Girl?
Squirrel Girl 4. I'm feeling a light 4 right off the rip. I feel like there's worse cards. There's little words are hard. There are places to use this card. Obviously, it's not powerful. It's not anything exciting, but there can be some practical uses for this card, so I won't drop it down to a 5.
Celine card incoming. All right. Sarah is your next card.
I dig Sarah. Having Sarah in my deck is kind of nice, and sometimes I didn't even realize that if you use, I think it's Mystique. If you use Mystique, it like doubles down on this, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you can
actually.
Yeah, you can Mystique, or you can do Onslaught on Sarah and get double. Yeah.
Yeah, or having magic and just being able to play more cards. I'll give Sarah a 2, and I feel like you're doing a theme, so I feel like you're doing a theme.
No theme. No theme, which you will see with our next card, which is Juggernaut.
Juggernaut. I probably would have put that at 2, and I probably would have put Sarah at 3, but, can't take my decisions back. I'll just go ahead and put Juggernaut at 3 then.
Okay.
I'll flip them.
So Sarah's at 2, Juggernaut's at 3, Squirrel Girl's at 4, which means your last 2 are your 1 and your 5. So let's start with Silver Surfer.
Ooh, similar situation to you. I'm putting Silver Surfer at 1. I feel like you're going to give me some trash for the last one, so I feel like I'm safe to put Silver Surfer up top.
And you love Silver Surfer, to be fair.
I do. I do like playing a Surfer deck. It's fun.
Can we just appreciate this variant? I just love this variant.
Oh,
okay.
It is beautiful, especially with the Krackle, too.
Yeah, got lucky on that. All right, and your number 5, the card that you dislike the most. Fin Fang Foom.
We're chilling. Because the thing is I'm sure if I had this card, I would be like number 1 all the way. But the problem is I don't have it. And I hate when it gets played against me. So I'm cool with it being 5, but really I'm not cool with it being 5. It really should be probably number 1 out of all those.
Oh, what a card. What a card. No, I think you're happy with the way yours turned out. Silver Surfer, love that.
I'm not going to consider it a loss whatsoever. I do like the other cards that you listed. Fin Fang Foom just doesn't hold a special place in my heart because I don't have it.
Yep, I get it. Your heart is betrothed to another. It's fine. All right, well, that's our blind rankings, which brings us to our question of the week. Trevor, I think this one's probably a pretty good one to ask you because you are very musically inclined. And this question, courtesy of my lovely secret wife. Who is your most listened to musical artist ever? And you can do that with data or just what you feel it is.
With data might be tough because of how much I listen to music. I'll go based off of when I really like fell in love with music and I started listening to albums outside of what I was hearing on the radio and just getting a little bit deeper into that. I would say my favorite artist overall across all genres is probably Thundercat, and a lot of people don't know who Thundercat is, but he's just this goofy guy. He makes some real groovy music. I can listen to him with people in the car, and they don't really bat an eye at the music, which is always nice. His lyrics are kind of cheesy and goofy. He's super into cats for whatever reason. So, well, I guess his name is Thundercat.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's fair, but it's such a vibe, so groovy. I would say Thundercat. Probably not my most listened to artist, but if I really had to pick one that I'm proud of, I'd say Thundercat.
Nice. I'll have to check it out. I'm not that familiar, and by which I mean I'm not familiar at all. So that'll be cool to check out.
What you got?
I think you know my answer already, because I've talked about him a lot. It would have to be Vampire Weekend. I'm not somebody that listened to a ton of music on my own growing up. It took me until I got to college. And once I did, my roommate was super into like the indie kind of scene. And Vampire Weekend was a band that was just coming out at the time I was in college. And so he was like on it, he was like playing it in the dorm room. And I was just like, what is this? It was so different from anything else I'd ever heard. And that kind of is part of what ignited my interest in music from there. And so I had a very different path to music, and that stuck with me. And then they've put out albums, I think they put out their 5th album a couple years ago, which I really enjoyed. So Vampire Weekend, special place in my heart. They got that weird kind of Paul Simon-esque acoustic indie pop like thing going, very eclectic, and yeah, I'm just a big fan of them. My other answer for this would be just from living with my parents when I did, and my mom in particular is a huge Elvis fan, so I listened to a ton of Elvis growing up. Maybe enough Elvis to offset the amount that I started late in life with Vampire Weekend, but I think my YouTube music would definitely show that VW is my number one.
That's fair. I need to do a little bit of research on Vampire Weekend myself, listen to some Vampire Weekend. You got to listen to some Thundercat. We'll reconvene in 2 weeks and we'll talk about it maybe a little bit.
I'm all about it. We could do that. A little homework. And let us know down in the comments what your most listened to musical artist is. Or maybe it's a podcast. Maybe it's Snap Crackle Pod. Who knows? We put out some music to your ears. But yeah. Thanks so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We're building something new here on the Offish SKP channel. Leave a comment down below, like the video. Trevor, we got next time we talk, we got another season. It's going to be very interesting that we'll talk about.
It's just crazy how fast these seasons go sometimes.
I know. Especially now that we're going every 2 weeks. It's like we pop in, we talk the season, and then it's time to talk about another one.
It's good though. We have a lot to talk about whenever we get to that second week, and it's good to catch up.
Yeah, you still popping out some of your stuff there on the YouTubes, Trev? You got anyone to plug?
I've been slacking, man. I've just been so busy with work. It's just not a priority in my life right now. But Snap Crackle Pod must go on. That's always a top priority for me. So you can always catch me on the podcast. I try to get into Ryan's videos and comments when I can. So if you see me down there, feel free to say hi.
I appreciate seeing you in there. It's been fun. It's been, like I said, this last one really popped off. It's weird. Sometimes they'll pop off. Sometimes they won't. It's just how it goes. And I never know what people are going to be into. So you just got to keep making the content, and people will come if they dig it, I guess.
Yes, sir.
So, Trev, any non-snap advice before we get out of here?
Yeah, it's kind of random, but before I even get... Oh, boy. Okay, sorry. I had an error message come up on my laptop.
Yeah, that's okay.
It just went over top of everything. Anyway, I had a thought when it comes to musical artists. Ozzy, man, I bet you his favorite artist would be a rock artist, and it'd probably be Ozzy Osbourne. Okay. Anyway, my advice is to never listen to me ever when I open my mouth. My other good snap advice would be, hey man, if you're trying to like switch up your look and people, you're so worried about what other people are thinking, man, you should just send it. You should go for it. You only live once. Go for that different look, grow a mullet, and just rock it because you know what? You look good in a mullet.
I feel like that might be very directed at inward, and I like that. I'm all about it. Hey, listen, I totally could not agree with that advice more. I'm all about doing what works for you, and don't worry about the other people. It's just noise, man. It's just noise. All right.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, it's all the time we have. That's not actually true. Every time I say that, we have more time if we wanted it. But that's the end of our show notes. Thanks everybody for watching. We hope you have a great time with Team Clash. Come back next time and we'll talk about some more cards and stuff. That's what we do. Thanks everybody. Trevor, fly off to space.
Enjoy the rock meta, everybody.
Soft rock. Hard rock.
Say it louder for the people in the back.
It's fair.
Fairbairn.
Kaimi Fairbairn?
Kimimi Fairbairn.
Kaimi.
Howdy doody, howdy doody. See you later, Alibaba Sabanaba.
And Sabanar. Bye.
Deuces.